Welcome to your Joyful Riches podcast, where you learn and gain precious tips for creating your beautiful, thriving, joyful life. This podcast is done with the G100 Global Networking and powered by Anchor FM. Anchor FM is the super awesome podcast made easy platform. And for this week, we are so thrilled and so honored to have Debbie Specter Weisman. And I just love your background. I just love the white cloud and the rainbow. And of course, I am so honored and so thrilled to be able to speak with you and have you as my guest. You are one of the people who interview me back in the day before I barely know what interview. So thank you so much, Debbie, for being here. Thank you. Would you care to share with our audience what is it that you do?
Absolutely. Well, Brigitte, I'm so happy to be with you today. And yeah, I like to call this my dreamy background because I am a certified dream life coach, which means that I help people who are in a sort of questioning, iffy state of their lives to help them get clarity and purpose and passion or answer any difficult questions they have by helping them understand their dreams. I'm also, as you said, the host and producer of not only a podcast, but also now a radio show called The Dream Power Show and a TV show where I also interview experts in all areas of life, such as yourself and other dream workers, on how to live a happy and productive life.
Oh, wow. That is quite amazing. That is really amazing to be able to do that. I just, and congratulations on your radio and TV show. That's super awesome. And so, I mean, that's not the most common occupations, I might say. What brings you to do what you do?
Well, not surprisingly enough, it all began with a dream. I had been in a questioning state of my life, starting in my 50s, where I kind of was wondering, am I really doing what I want to do out of life? And at the time, I had been a ultimate fatalist and believed that just things were the way they were and couldn't change. My husband and I, who are in the filmmaking business as well, were hired to do the post production on a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know, which actually says that you do have the power to change your life, which was at that time a revelation for me. Flash forward a few years later, and I got introduced to dream work. I got very fascinated with it because I saw how it was helping other people and decided to study it just to get more knowledge about it. While I was in my studies, I had what I like to call the dream that changed my life. And the interesting thing about this dream was it wasn't this long, convoluted, epic thing that went on for a long time. It was not an image, it was just one word. But the word was the word was codpiece. And because I was now paying attention to my dreams, I was perplexed. Like, why am I dreaming about codpiece? What is this? What's going on here? And to make a very long story short, the definition of a codpiece was a garment that men wore in the Middle Ages to protect their genital area. And I had to, this even made me more perplexed. Like, why? What does this have to do with me? But I started to think about it and really ponder it. I came to realize something profound. At the time I had the dream, I was very shy and very quiet and didn't speak up and wasn't really self-expressive. If people asked me something directly, I'd answer them, but I wouldn't volunteer anything. And I wasn't really, you know, giving myself up to anybody. I was like the genitals behind the codpiece. I was this precious being that was had a wall, just like the codpiece was a wall. I had a wall protecting me or preventing me from expressing myself out into the world, just like a codpiece protects, a man from, that keeping that precious part of him safe and protective. And having this revelation then leads to the next question. Well, what do I do about it? And one thing about dream work that's very critical is A dream is just an interesting story, or a mind just an interesting word, unless you take action on it. So this dream showed me I had to take action on what I could do to break out of the codpiece, or in other words, what to do to break out of my shell. And ironically enough, or maybe prophetic enough, the next night I had another dream. This dream again was just one word, nothing bigger than that, but the word was almond. And when I remembered that, I had to laugh, because what is an almond? It is this precious thing, this very tasty, delicious nut that's protected by a shell. But in this case, the almond shell is not as hard as the codpiece. So I felt that gave me the clue that I was going in the right direction. And it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like the next day, all of a sudden, I was, breaking out in song and, going out and shouting out into the world. But it led me on the journey to become more self expressive. And as a result, I wouldn't have met you, because I wouldn't have started that podcast. I wouldn't be doing the podcast now and having that grow exponentially from when I first started it, and start my own dream work practice, because it also showed me that I had to continue these studies so that I became certified as a coach, so that I could go out into the world and help other people understand how dreams could help them.
Wow, that is a very fascinating journey. That is quite a fascinating journey, and to imagine that. And anyway, we have a somewhat similar, not through their dream with me, but through I think I was a little more stubborn. The life need to kind of like get a 4x4 and whack me in the head really hard few times, not just couple dream, but to go from the journey where you are completely very shy. I used to, like yourself, I would not look at, I wouldn't even look at people if you speak with me. Never, and absolutely, I'll never speak with you or ignite a conversation. So this would not happen if I didn't have life experiences. But that is so fascinating, and to be able, because I can only imagine so many people like, what the heck was that? Why would I dream that? You know what I mean? And not have the understanding how, and seeing, God is an almond. And that is so beautiful to for you to be able to go through things, and then to really look and have an understanding, and now being able to help people with that. And so I hear you that you help people interpret their dream and find clarity and create the life they love, would follow their purpose and their calling. So do you have one or two advice, like, if we don't, let's say, for our audience, if we're not out there learning about dream, but we have dream that's like, that sounds really peculiar and things like that, do they call you? Do you interpret dream on regular basis, or is it something that, how do we know, what dream to pay attention and what's not?
Okay, well, quite a few questions you asked me there. So, first of all, I'll say, if you don't understand your dream, I do help you with that. You can go to my website, thedreamcoach.net, and get in contact with me there, and we can go off from there. I do give a free consultation, to get you started. The important thing for anybody is to first believe that dreams are important, because we all dream, whether we remember our dreams or not. We all dream at least 3 to 7 dreams a night. And most of the time, we don't remember them because we don't believe they're important. While we're dreaming, we may think about it. And in the second we wake up, we might say, oh, that was kind of an interesting thought or a weird dream or something, and then forget about it because we don't do anything about it. And I'm here to tell you that if you do pay attention to your dream, you do write it down, you do look at it, you will gain so much insight about yourself. And if nothing else, you'll understand yourself better, to put you in a position to be able to help yourself answer questions and solve problems that you might not have otherwise. So the first step is to believe dreams are important. The second step is to remember your dreams. It's hard to remember your dreams. I'm not saying it's a very simple thing, because dreams lie in our very, very short-term memory. So if we don't do something to record them as soon as we can, they'll fly away. We won't remember them and they won't do us any good. So keep a journal or something where you can record your dream, whether it's a notebook and a pen, which I do because I'm kind of old school, or an app on your phone where you can just press the button and record it. Keep that next to your bed. And when you first wake up, don't move. Stay still, because any physical movement can also jar it out of your brain. So stay still until you can go over it in your mind a couple of times, remember what it is, and then write down as much as you can. And then if you go back to sleep, fine, read it in the morning. You might remember more the next, when you wake up. And if you don't, give yourself a break. Remembering dreams is kind of, I akin it to working out. The first time you go to a gym, you don't get in shape the first day you're there. But if you go day in, day out and make regular practice at it, you get better at it. And you, in time, will get in shape. Same thing with dreams. That first time you might remember, you might just remember, like I did, a word or an image. Write down that image. Even if you don't think it means anything, write it down. In time, you'll remember more of your dreams, and then you can look at them and gain some insight. You can do it yourself. You can ask yourself, what is this dream to me? You can ask yourself, because we dream in symbols, what do these symbols mean to me? And most of the time when we're having a dream like that, it pertains to something going on in our life. So see if you can find the connections. If you get to the point where you can't, contact me or someone like me who can help guide you by maybe asking you questions you might not have asked yourself or might not have realized you could ask yourself to get to that point. The dream will hold the answer. And then the final step is to always take action on the dream, whatever that dream is telling you to do. And that's how you get the results. And that's how you move from pain to pleasure to joy, from indecision to decision, from sort of blasé to taking passion in your life. All of those good things can happen.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful. So that for our audience, that's the tip. That is the very precious tip for how you can benefit from your dream. Dreams a lot of times just not a dream. I have heard a lot of time in dreams there for multiple different reasons. So that's how you can benefit from your dream. And if you didn't take a note fast enough, simply rewind this after the end. Listen to it again. That's very precious. And of course, you can connect to Debbie if you need if you want to. And so yeah, I imagine from your journey, from being super shy to be a TV host, that's like woof, 180-degree different. So do you have tips and living a life that you love? Do you have tips for our audience who are, like, I'm not sure, or I'm on the verge, or I don't know it's possible. I have all these conditions. Do you have tips on for our audience on creating there from your journey, perhaps your experience, some lessons or some tips on how to create their dream life, basically the life that they dream of, the beautiful, joyful life that everybody says they want.
Well, first, I will say it's never too late. I got on this journey when I was in my 50s. And you would think a lot of people at that time think, oh, I'm set in my ways. Things are like I was set. Things are just the way they are. They're not going to change. You do have the power to change at any age, whether you're 20, 50, or 80. It's never too late. You just have to make the decision to do it. And I think that's the other thing, to actually decide to take action. That is like the critical thing I learned from dream work is action is where the results happen. And believe that you can do it. Just believe that you can do it. Anything is possible with that.
Yeah, yeah. decide and take actions and believe. I love that, because that's really is the component of, you can dream all the dream like you just said, and if you never take actions, you won't get here anywhere. I'll stay in the dreamland, and that is so beautiful. How do people connect with you, Debbie?
Okay, well, I love email. So my email is Debbie, and that's DEBBIE at thedreamcoach.net, all one word, and especially it's .net, thedreamcoach.net. That's the easiest way to do it. You check out my website if you just want some more information, and listen to my show. It's called The Dream Power Show. It's on all podcast platforms, and it's now also on a wonderful new radio station called Power Me Up Talk 24/7 on iHeart Radio. Not iHeart Podcast, but iHeart Radio. And I'm on every day, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And it's a great way to get to know me, and also realize that I realize, like I said, I think dream work is the key to everything, but I know that people might not be ready for that, and they can listen and find other ways to get empowered.
Super, super. And you mentioned you have a TV show, which where do the audience find that?
Yeah, it's called The Dream Power Show. It's on Roku and Amazon Fire, and it's on a wonderful network called Raven International Media. So if you have Roku or Amazon Media, download the Raven International Media app, and my show will be right there.
Super. So many ways, wonderful ways for you to learn more and be acquainted with Debbie, from her podcast, from her radio, and from her TV. And just like today, if you learn even one thing today, these are all free resources. So why not learn more in this? And you seen how Debbie is so sweet and so fun. So go follow Debbie, follow her on her TV, on her podcast, on her radio, and connect with her, please, on her website, and email her if you have questions. And Debbie, that is so beautiful. Do you have one final message for our audience as we wrap this conversation?
I do. One thing I didn't mention is that I'm also a writer, and I didn't write anything for 25 years, and dream work helped me learn to enjoy writing again. And I wrote 9, or was featured in 9 books since I rediscovered dream work. I can't, even though I'm a writer, I can't say it better than one of the great dream workers of the late 20th, early 21st century, Jeremy Taylor, who said that all dreams reflect our inner creativity and our ability to face and solve life's problems.
That is so beautiful. If you have challenge in your life, opportunities to grow or to do anything, if you have problems in your life, then pay attention to your dream. And if you cannot understand what your dream is saying, or you need help with practice, paying attention and listening to your dream, just please do email Debbie or connect with her on her website. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. That is so wonderful. It's such a wonderful conversation. It's great to get to know you better, and just love your story and how it is this beautiful one word dream. And many times people's like, that's just so weird, and dismiss it. And thank goodness you listen to them. Otherwise, like you said, we wouldn't be talking back then, and would be talking now. And so that is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Debbie. And for you, my friend, who are watching this or listening to this, share one or two gold nuggets in the comment below that you've learned from this, so we can continue learning from each other. And thank you for joining us. Share this interview, these conversations with your friends and families, because they too deserve to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. And this is Dr. Birgit Tan, your grief transformation specialist for individual and businesses. And thank you for joining us. I look forward to see you again next week, same place, same time at 8:30 a.m.